It has been our long-held aspiration to maximize school enrollment and retention to ensure every child in Kenya has access to education. Recognizing that access to food and nutrition is a significant factor in keeping children in school, Kenya introduced the school meals program as early as 1966, when I was born, just 3 years after our independence. That's how long we have a history with school feeding program. It is the one thing that I insisted that must be in the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza, because we still have too many children out of school, and it is the reason why I specifically asked the governor of Nairobi that we cannot have the capital city of Kenya with too many children out of school, largely because of two things: infrastructure in our schools, and secondly, hunger. And I am very proud of what Nairobi County is doing and what collectively as a government we are doing in this space to keep our children in school and to make sure that to the extent possible, they have a meal. We all know that our children are a blessing to us as parents and to us as a nation and humanity. We can never think about tomorrow without thinking about our children. And therefore, when we sit around a table, when we sit in a meeting like this to discuss our children, it is sacred. And it is the right thing to do. And it's emotional when we are discussing about feeding our children, especially those who would otherwise not have an opportunity to have a meal. In the last 2 years, we've hired 56,000 teachers more. And next January, we are hiring another 20,000 teachers so that every child in our schools have access to a teacher and they can learn. It is also a moment that even as we move into grade 9, we've not only finalized the process of building an extra 11,000 classrooms as government. I've also asked our members of parliament, using their constituency development fund, to also build another 6,000 classrooms so that next year we are ready to make sure that every child that grows to grade 9 have a classroom, they have a teacher, and I am very happy to announce that we have already made all the learning material available. There will be a book, every subject for every learner, to make sure that our transition is complete and our transition is effective. So as we discuss school feeding program, we're discussing the health of our children and we are discussing the education of our children, because as I said, our children are a blessing to us as families, as parents, and as a nation. And as we look after them, we ensure our future. It is the insurance that we have for our future. It is not possible for us to discuss school feeding in isolation. As part of making sure that all our children have access to food, we have scaled up as a government our agricultural intervention to provide and supply more food in Kenya, so that we're not just addressing issues about our children, we are addressing issues about the people of Kenya. It is the reason why we have done 3 things in our agriculture. Number 1, we have gone back to supply subsidized fertilizer to our farmers. And I'm very proud of what the farmers are doing in Kenya. It is the reason why the staple food in the last 2 years has come down by half. What was being sold for 230 shillings is now being sold for 100 shillings. Number two, we are expanding our land under irrigation because we realize that with climate change, a much more predictable food system must be on irrigation. We have 700,000 acres under irrigation at the moment. By 2027, we want to increase that by another 500,000 acres to 1.3 million acres. And by 2032, we want to take it to 1.8 million acres to make sure that we sustainably can feed not just our population, but also our children. Hunger remains a significant challenge to the well-being of many, particularly in arid and semi-arid areas and also in our informal settlements. To address this, we have tripled the budgetary allocation for school feeding and set a clear goal to expand the program's coverage from 2.6 million kids to 10 million children by 2030. Towards this end, we launched an operational plan to scale up the program early this month. We are committed to action and fully determined to succeed. Kenya is also addressing climate change or climate challenges by combining initiatives that promote resilience, including robust support for school meals, provision of local sourcing, and fostering sustainable practices such as clean cooking and the adoption of drought-resistant crops.